everything fell into place. There was a stampede for silver as people dug into their attics, garages, and drawers. The refiners are now overwhelmed by the amount of metal, the majority of which is alloyed. So they can get through it, I hear they're running all week. I currently do not have any Buffalo rounds in stock, and I will have to wait 2 weeks to receive more. Oh, is that so? The duration is 2 weeks. Typically, I could receive them within a few of days. Where do you see precious metals going from here, Harry? Gold surpassed $43.50 for the first time in history. Neither of them has been as steady as it was when silver was at $50 per ounce. Will we return to our previous levels of success? I believe we will return to them and even go higher. In your opinion, should newcomers who are just getting their feet wet continue to make purchases? Visit SD Bullion's online store to purchase precious metals. Visit sdbullion.com/new to purchase gold or silver instantly. The showcases appear somewhat empty at the moment, Harry. We are extremely low on generics, bars, and rounds, and we haven't been able to replenish our supply since the price of silver dropped dramatically in the past few days from $52 to $49 or $48, and people wisely bought during those drops. Yeah, and I see that you only have a handful of gold pieces down here. The smart money is buying on dips, and I commend them. Yeah, and gold was also really low. It fell by a couple $100 an ounce in the past several days. Time to make a purchase. Yes, I did purchase some silver yesterday, and I find it intriguing that although the price is rising slightly today, silver is still available for less than $50 per ounce, so I still consider it a good opportunity to acquire. In response to comments like, boy, silver's crashing, and I look at the board and it's, $40 or $49, I always remind myself that the price is still at a 15-year high. Will it continue to rise or will it eventually level off? No, I don't believe so. In my opinion, it has made up for a lot of yesterday's losses today. Definitely, it's making a comeback today. As you can see on the board, we gained 1.61 this morning. Taking advantage of opportunities to make a profit is a natural part of any dynamic market. People spent yesterday, but they're buying again today because you can't lose money by making money. The board is slightly different now, Harry, and I must inquire about it. For price, you guys used to rely on Kitco. Who or what is your current tool? To be more specific, this is why we're utilizing an app that tracks the COMEX spot pricing. Since none of the refiners or wholesalers we deal with are using Kitco anymore, we need to make sure that our purchasing practices are in sync with theirs when it comes to spot silver prices, as they are all using COMEX. It's not as practical, and it's a bit strange for everyone to see these figures, particularly if they're used to seeing Kitco on home, where the silver price is going to be around $1 more. But it wouldn't serve me well to use that as a starting point for purchases if my customers were to use this. In your opinion, is this a short-lived shift, or will it last forever? No, I don't believe so. As soon as they stabilize and become somewhat equal, I believe the majority will return to Kitco. A week ago, there was a $2 split between COMEX and Kitco, and now it's closer to $1. With Kitco, I'm favorably impressed. The other app is more user-friendly and includes the bid and ask prices, but this one is missing those details. First of all, what makes you believe there was a difference? In your opinion, was it solely the demand, or were there also fluctuations in price? I mean, in the physical market and the futures market, where immediate delivery is being discussed, there is currently an oversupply at the refineries, the major players in the country, and they aren't even buying anymore. As a result, there is a difference in who they're using for pricing and whether they're buying at all. You just made an intriguing statement, therefore I understand. I uploaded a video a week or more ago discussing the refiners' reluctance to purchase sterling silver, in some instances even refusing to purchase 90% of it. At this very moment, is that still ongoing? Without a doubt, it is. They have zero interest in purchasing alloyed silver. Naturally, that would be sterling, but they aren't interested in purchasing 90%, 40% war nickels or anything alloyed. From what I've heard, other people's coin businesses are also refusing to buy that stuff. Does this place still sell it to you? Yeah, we are. Even though we're still making purchases, it's hurting our finances because we don't have a way to swiftly pay it off. So the money sits and causes an issue with our cash flow. It's really taxing, and I doubt I'm the only one. According to other clients I've spoken with, the competition isn't really buying in this area. Not all of them, but I'd be surprised if that wasn't the case. Many simply can't afford to wait. We don't know how short-lived the problem will be, which is a concern for everyone. At $50 or $50 an ounce, the substance poured out of every crevice, according to the refiners, who insist that they are too overwhelmed to purchase anymore. The refiners are at a standstill because people began digging through their basements, garages, and drawers in search of silver, which led to an influx of the metal, the majority of which is alloyed. From what I've heard, they're putting in extra hours every day simply to get through it, and I keep hearing weeks and months passing. Therefore, I anticipate this to be the case for the remainder of the current calendar year. Holy cow! Premiums for specific products have increased, which is something else I've noticed. Yes, a silver eagle is one of them. The COVID pandemic proved it. Yeah, is it transpiring all over again? Yeah, without a doubt. Eagles are selling for 57 OZ at our shop this morning, which is around 40 cents lower than a local competition. Yet, when you check the board, the COMEX silver is listed as $49.08. Consequently, the premium is absurd. The issue is that if you can find a replacement, it will cost a pretty penny. Unfortunately, I am currently out of Buffalo rounds and will have to wait 2 weeks to receive more. Oh, is that so? The duration is 2 weeks. Typically, I could receive them within a few of days. Did you just mention that certain products don't have enough silver? I have no idea if it's authentic, fake, or if folks are simply refusing to part with their goods. I can only state that supply is woefully inadequate in comparison to demand. I have no idea why this is happening. Things are tough right now. I am thrilled. Keeping a business afloat and the store interesting and stocked with all the necessary items has also been quite a task. Well, I would just state that I am not currently stacking eagles, because they are roughly $8 above spot. Since you do have these other coins in stock, I would probably choose something else, like a kangaroo or a Britannia. They're significantly less expensive. No, I mean it's $4 less expensive. Behold, the generic rounds and bars are stored on the bottom shelf. The fact that a lot of others agree with you, that is, I'm not going to purchase eagles, has drained it. The low premium silver is mine to purchase, but you have no luck even locating it. Sure, you can acquire it, just not very quickly. It appears like a lot of people are selling their silver, and that's the insane part. Therefore, you should be able to find a lot to purchase. However, the latest silver products, be it a coin or a round, are simply unavailable. They are, but only if you have a lot of patience or are ready to shell out a pretty penny. The good news is that we can maintain a reasonable supply as we are always purchasing over the counter. With the possible exception of generics, we have achieved a pleasant balance in purchasing and selling. Unfortunately, the demand has outpaced my ability to meet it. Are the majority of your customers currently looking to buy or sell something? I would guess there are more vendors than buyers, but it's not drastically different. The other 90%, the constitutional trash silver, is still plentiful and, happily, a fantastic investment in my opinion. You can still purchase silver if you're willing to be a little bit flexible and buy something that's priced slightly lower than what generic rounds and bars are selling for. I see. Still, you have to wonder, what am I going to do with this in the future? If your neighborhood coin shop isn't buying 90% of your coins right now, there's some truth to it, but keep in mind that many buyers are doing so because they anticipate a day in the future when they will need to barter. They aren't buying it for speculative purposes with the intention of reselling it to us. Rather, they are preparing for a more sinister period. That makes perfect sense, I guess. Well, I suppose if you're flush with junk silver, you're not exactly in the market for more of it. However, I strongly believe that you should include some in your stack when you are first starting out. The variety is fascinating and it's simply entertaining. I find the background of some of these things to be quite intriguing. Plus, I don't think vintage coins featuring figures like Benjamin Franklin or Mercury dimes will ever be popular. Where do you see precious metals going from here, Harry? At one point, gold was worth more than $430 per ounce, silver was worth more than $44 per ounce, and now both prices have fallen. Will we return to our previous levels of success? I believe we will return to them and even go higher. Just look at the data. It's going to be a seesaw effect. It goes up, then some profit taking happens, and then it goes up again. Or maybe it goes up by a lot. Though it's a decrease from last week, the total is still $460. That is, in all seriousness, record gold. Not to mention silver. We couldn't have imagined this last year, but at about 50 Z, it's definitely happening now. No, however, we did make some guesses about a video's release date earlier in the year, thinking it would be around year's end. Also, I believe Adrian and I were in agreement that it might touch 40, but we were mistaken because it hit 50. Those who have been buying consistently, sticking to their strategy, and dollar cost averaging can rejoice because their stack is worth far more than it was a year ago. I suppose the takeaway is that time is on your side when dealing with this kind of stuff, provided you're patient and aren't betting on a fast flip. People who are ecstatic about the return on investment of their gold investments from the 1980s and earlier have come in to sell it. It's quite a hold. A 30% rise would have been yours even after a year of holding on to it. If you ask my brother Bob, where are you now? He'll tell you that newcomers should keep buying from you. So this is where it all begins. This is the cost if you want to begin right now. If you're starting now, you can't go back in time to the 1980s. Hence, this serves as your starting point. Perhaps in 10 years' time, silver's price will be zero. Who can say for sure? But this is the only day you can begin. Starting yesterday is not an option. In comparison to what you've seen during COVID-19, do you think demand has increased even more now? Oh, that's so far away. Oh, is that so? Yeah, great beyond the coronavirus era. I have worked at this shop for the past decade. Nothing like this has ever been seen before. We're not going door to door with our phone numbers, but we've been 3 people deep at the registers on occasion. Particularly last week was rough due to the sheer amount of work that had to be done nonstop. Are you expecting demand for precious metals to keep rising now that they're receiving attention in the mainstream media? I must admit, though, things calmed down a bit after yesterday and the day before, when prices fell. I mean, it has calmed down to normal, which is constantly bustling when I say that. However, perhaps the lunacy will return with today's price hike. It might happen. Well, perhaps. I will definitely be tuning in.